Your first-warned weather forecast from meteorologist Jordan Wolfe.
Well, it's been a very warm stretch as of late. We've only had one day in the last 2 weeks that was below the average mark of the low 80s for this time of year. And 5 of the last 6 days have featured a high temperature at 90 degrees or above here in Rockford, including several of those last weekend that were in the low to mid 90s. Today, a significant improvement on that, though still above average. We made it to 85 in Rockford. We're now sitting at 80 degrees in Rockford, 81 Rochelle and in DeKalb, as well as Woodstock, now down to 78 in Poplar Grove, 80 in Dixon, 79 out in Freeport, and starting to see some of that cooler air working its way in from the west and from the northwest. That's also beginning to clear out our sky a little bit. As you can see, just a few of those clouds lingering with our Mercy Health SkyTrack camera in Poplar Grove, brought to us by the Poplar Grove Airport. We're seeing that decrease in cloud cover with a short-lived high pressure that's taking overhead, and that's pushing a lot of that moisture and those storms that we had yesterday, last night, going down to our south and to our southeast. Meanwhile, we get this cooler air mass that's taking over overhead, and that's helping to drop our dew point values as well. You may notice a significant improvement in our dew points from roughly last night to the early part of the day today. A lot more of that refreshing air mass as we head through the night tonight. We may even see a couple spots tag the upper 50s for those dew points here late this evening, indicating a much more cool and dry air mass overhead. Unfortunately, that doesn't last too long, as we'll see an increase in that humidity again going into the weekend. And for Sunday, our dew points once again tagging those low 70s and possibly into the mid 70s. So enjoy this evening while it lasts. A much cooler and refreshing night ahead. Down to 62, that overnight low, just a few passing clouds. And with that temperature dropping as quickly as it will, we may see the chance for some patchy fog, especially in areas that saw some of that more abundant rain over the last several days. But the heat and humidity returning for the weekend. Not all that much for Saturday, but we're still up to 87 degrees. Maintain that partly cloudy sky. 92 for Sunday, and it'll feel closer to the mid 90s or even close to 100 degrees when you factor in that heat index, and that humidity likely then bringing our next chance for rain and storms Sunday evening. Futurecast depicting this pretty well. We stayed dry through the daytime hours of Saturday. Saturday evening, we may see some storms developing well up to our north and to our northwest. They may bring an outflow boundary our direction, but I don't anticipate any storm activity to make it this far to the south, though we might get a brief wind gust out well ahead of those storms, even several hundred miles. Going into Sunday, that's where we get our increase in rain and storm chances as those once again develop from the northwest, but this time around, much more favorable conditions for those rain and storm chances to develop overhead. And because of that, any of those storms that could develop may turn severe. An isolated risk for a severe thunderstorm or two. That's that marginal risk level 1 out of 5 here locally across the state line, well up to the north. That level 2 out of 5 in portions of Wisconsin. Our main threat would be with damaging wind gusts and with heavy rain as opposed to tornadoes or hail. As we head into the weekend, that humidity on the rise, but once it gets past Sunday, we'll see another decrease in our dew point values, likely returning closer to average. So it'll feel closer to the 90s and to the triple digits going into Saturday and Sunday, but going into next week, once that front passes, our temperatures and our dew points will start to drop a little bit. 87 degrees for Saturday, up to 92 on Sunday, then 85 Monday, still holding on to some lingering rain and storm chances there, but we dry out for Tuesday and for most of Wednesday. Unfortunately, things looking a little bit more active going into next week. We may have to dodge some thunderstorms on the 4th of July. We'll keep an eye on that as we head through the week.